Today, the Digital Nomad project is actually talking to Wolf. We're going to be hearing a story directly from someone who's living on the streets in Sydney. Please do share this broadcast out. If you're new to Periscope, tap the little guy in the bottom corner and you can share this to Twitter or to Facebook, or invite your followers here. Let's get loads of people in. Let's show some real support. I want to really give you guys a chance to impact people's lives directly through Periscope. Let's do some social good through Periscope, guys. So I'm going to flick round. This is actually the sign that Wolf is using out on the street right now. So share it out. Make sure as many people as possible get in and hear this. So just hold fire on the comments for a second. Thanks a lot for joining. Appreciate all of you doing this. Feel free, again, grab screenshots, guys, share it out. The wider we can get this message, the more social good. So here's a face that you'd be familiar with on the broadcast. I'm going to introduce you to Wolf over here, who's been living on the streets in Sydney for how long?
8 years.
8 years. So 8 years on the street. So I'm actually going to let you talk mostly throughout this broadcast. The guys here want to know the stories behind how you came to be in the situation, and kind of basically we want to know how and the problems that you face, and then also kind of how we can help. So if you can kind of just go through kind of how you ended up being in the situation first, would be awesome.
Hey guys, well, situations came about because, well, I was living with a girl and then she cheated on me with my best friend. That kind of sucked. I ended up on the streets because we broke up. I had no income at the time, and I still have no income apart from what the generosity of people on the streets. So I've survived. You know, like that's all I am. I'm a survivor. I don't care. I keep my head up. I keep my head high. I do what I have to do to get by, because what else can you do?
Yeah.
You survive. You live. People that put their heads down and cry about it, they don't last long.
Yeah. So I know we had a quick chat. So guys, just give you the heads up. We've just been sat here chatting. I know we said we were going to go live at 11 o'clock, but we just had an amazing conversation a minute ago. Just give me a little bit of insight so that I can kind of steer the conversation for you guys, so you get the most out of it while you're tuned in. And you were saying about how. Obviously, I mean, I popped down here earlier, and unfortunately, it was that time I broadcast earlier. If you saw it, I actually only missed him by about 5 or 10 minutes. But Wolf was actually out just down the road, and we just missed each other. So, but he goes out down the road with the sign that you saw at the beginning. If you didn't see it, I just flicked. You just joined. This is actually the sign he's using out on the street as well. What he needs to do. Basically win the hearts of people on the streets, that they want to do that, they want to support him. And I was just explaining how as a digital community you're super supportive, and obviously I'm out trying to get people's stories to you and see how we can help impact the lives of people around us. So we had a little bit of a chat around kind of the problems you face. So obviously I've talked about it, but I want you to talk about let's talk about getting a job, because you said earlier. Give me the story you told me earlier.
And buses. At the moment, last year I had all of my stuff stolen. I had my ID stolen, my passport, everything. I'm from New Zealand, so stuck in a foreign country with no ID. And you can't, in Sydney, get any work without certain pieces of paper, which is ridiculous in my opinion. And you need photo ID to get most of them. So getting things like even labouring work, you've got to have your white card, which is only about 110 bucks, but you've got to have photo ID to prove that you're legally allowed to work in Australia. And that creates a problem when you've got no ID.
Yeah. So is there... we've kind of chatted about it, but let's do it for everyone here. Yeah. Is there any way that we could help you get photo ID to get you that step closer to there? Maybe that's kind of one thing that we can try and help with.
Yeah, well, for me, I've worked out that I've got to get about 140 points of ID. I can get my birth certificate, which is $25, which is fairly simple.
Yeah.
And then I can go through Turbo. And then I can go and get a few other pieces of paper, because I don't have a place to live, I can't have bills and stuff like that, which constitute towards the ID amount. But I could probably raise about 100 points. And then it's just a matter of coming up with the rest. So it's just finding that, and it's sometimes gets a bit disheartening because you look at life and you're like, oh crap, I'm going to come up with all this stuff.
Yeah.
On top of living and surviving every day, and because I'm not an Australian, I don't get any assistance from either the government or any of the so-called charities like Salvos.
Yeah. So I'm just going to address a couple of things because obviously people are asking questions as we go. So Christy, he has actually got kind of friends' places and stuff that he can get mail sent to, and he can pick stuff up there. So from an address point of view, he could use an address like that for getting mail sent out, just to kind of address that. So there is that as an option. So from that kind of point of view, communication and getting stuff through, so if he had to apply for things and things like that, that can be sent out, and it's a place that can go to. But kind of the main problem, I guess, is around that whole getting photo ID, because the photo ID is needed to be able to then prove you're allowed to work and go and get into the job. So it's not that he doesn't want to get a job. We've been sat here chatting, and he definitely wants to go and get a job, and he's super keen to do it, but unfortunately there's a massive mountain to climb in order to be able to do that. So it's really difficult, but like, we want to kind of see if there's anything we can do to support him and help him move towards that. So obviously, like, getting your white card is one thing. So we need to identify that there's photo ID and a white card would be a step towards being able to go and get a job.
And the phone scene, I lost mine at the end of last year.
So guys, that was we were talking, and I said, like, it'd be great to be able to keep in touch, keep up with that as well, and be able to touch base and see how things are going. So we're communicating and seeing if there was a way to do that. And Wolf was just telling me before that unfortunately he's actually had his mobile stolen from his stuff. As you saw, if you saw the broadcast earlier, he has to, when he leaves, this down here behind us, this is the house. So we're literally outside of a building. This bit down here, this is where he keeps all his stuff. Obviously, when he has to disappear off for the toilet, to go and do things, to go and do things like busking and things like that, in order just to survive, obviously he has to leave everything that he's got here, and unfortunately someone has actually been past and stolen his phone. So the problem with that, yes, he's had a number of things stolen, but like, for us, we want to be able to keep in touch and see if there's any way we can continually support. So I'm going to throw it out to community that I think that the one thing that would be an amazing thing to do, and it just doesn't have to be a fancy phone, just a really basic phone to like be able to stay in touch, because remember how important it is to be able to communicate with people.
To be able to be contacted for work.
Yeah, if there's opportunities come up, if there's like some work that comes up, they need to be able to contact him. And likewise, if he's going to constantly be trying to get work, he's going to need to be able to contact those people and be available. And also for us to kind of check in, see how he's doing and stuff like that. As a community, I think it would be an amazing thing if we could band together, and maybe first step is get a phone, and then we can kind of communicate with you and see where we go next and what we do next. So I'm going to follow up. Obviously, I explained to you about the whole project. So Wolf and I, while we were chatting for half an hour before, we were basically explaining around... do you have access in email? So that's one of the things we want to do, is basically if we can get him a phone, we'll get him, like, I think for about $40 you can get a phone where you can get on the internet. It's not a fancy phone, it's just a phone that has access to the internet, and there are...
I've always got access to the internet through... Like,
you could go to library so there are places he'd be able to go as well. So, and
I'm a gamer.
So again, quick question. A couple of people are asking. So with regards to work rights, what's the situation now? So,
I'm a New Zealander, so I'm legally allowed to work in Australia. Basically, Kiwis have, through the Anzac Treaty, have the right to come over, work for as long as we like, stay as long as we like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can work. I've got tax file number, I've got an ATN, so I can actually start my own company.
Yeah.
So working's not a problem. I can work as much as I want.
Yeah. It's people saying it's really good to see that you're upbeat. Like, bearing in mind how long you've been facing it, but this is one thing, and I'm gonna hold the camera for a second here to tell this. So when Wolf and I were talking earlier, when we talked about him going out and doing this, loads of people on the streets of Sydney are talking and trying to get money and trying to busk and things. And one of the things he said is he's not like a lot of people, head down, hands out, asking. He's actually trying to communicate, talk to people, and kind of really engage with people, which again, as a digital community, you know how much, how important that is. That whole communication engagement side is such a big thing, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. Like, even doing this, being prepared to come on, talk to you guys, put his whole story out there for kind of the world to see and to get involved with. Like, I think that's really, really admirable, and you can see he's super like upbeat. He wants to make a change. He's like, obviously, we're going to come across varying people throughout the 3 months, and some people are going to be very up for getting help, and some aren't, and that's the nature of what we're trying to do here. And so I'm super keen to kind of see in any way if people in the community want to get behind and help us support. Like I said, the first step I think is to go down the route of getting a phone, so it's able for us to communicate with him, and also for job people to communicate with him. And then obviously, ideally, we were talking, and there's potential of some work at that point, but then in order to be able to get into a better situation, that photo ID and the kind of white card to be able to go and actually earn a decent amount of money to do some labouring stuff would obviously be massively beneficial.
Yeah, just to get off the streets.
Yeah.
Because I'm over it.
Yeah.
Like,
as you can imagine, so how long did you say? Just because obviously people are coming in and out. So guys, Wolf has been on the street for 8 years here. He has you're very, I've got to say, all things being considered, you're quite fortunate in the fact you've managed to find a spot that you get less hassle than a lot of people.
Yeah, I found a good spot where it's fairly quiet, fairly safe. You know, like.
So I just want to highlight this. Matt said he's jobless, but he's happy to send you $10 or help with resume or anything to get you into jobs.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
So Matt's there. I mean, like, there's loads of people in the community, and I know I'll obviously do a follow-up broadcast with this, and I know that once I put this out and put it up, we're talking to people in different time zones, so not everybody is always available to watch and things, but people do go back and rewatch the broadcast later, because they can watch for the next 24 hours. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask the community to continually share this like every 3 or 4 hours throughout the next 24 hours, so as many people see it as possible. And we've actually got a way for people to be able to directly donate. If someone says, hey, I want to help him buy a phone, they can do that. And I'll be doing that on the wrap-up, guys, if you're interested. And also you can check the website for that over at AllThingsNetworking.com in the menu bar under Digital Nomad Project. But basically, yeah, guys, it's down to you guys as a community. If you've been following the project, you know what this is about. You can follow on Snapchat, which actually, guys, this guy's on Snapchat. So if anyone needs proof of why you need to be on Snapchat, this guy's been on the street for 8 years and he's on Snapchat. So if you're not, why not?
There's something wrong.
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
So obviously
he's not up to it.
Obviously he's not on Snapchat now because he doesn't have a phone, but he's super keen to get back on and update that, which is another way that you guys will be able to follow his story, see what's going on. I'm actually going to see maybe if, as part of the deal, we can maybe get some sort of data package or something which will then allow you to kind of document it, whether it's
and also a couple of Facebook pages, Wolf NZ at Facebook.com.
Yeah.
And also Firewolf, which is I do fire twirling and fire breathing.
So guys, this guy's not short of skills, and he's not short of a passion and a drive to go and do things. He's short of the opportunities and the facilities to make them happen. So guys, I really want you guys to help and to support and get behind Wolf and help him. You guys are going to change this guy's life. I know you guys in the community out there are going to do this. I know I'm reaching out specifically to certain people and asking for things from certain people. I'm going out and trying to do bits and pieces. I mean, one thing I was addressing earlier is quite often the misconception with people is if I say homeless, they say, oh, hungry. And I mean, like, this is the example is if we flick around here, like, there are people that are providing food.
Yeah,
so
there's lovely people out there that are giving their time and their effort to dropping bags of food and stuff around to the homeless, which is amazing. Like, you know, realistically, Sydney is a really hard place to go hungry in.
Yeah. So that side of things is there, but obviously we're trying to identify exactly what the problem is, which obviously we've identified as, to get out of this situation, you need a chance at being able to get work, and we want to help you do that. So I'm super keen for the whole community to keep sharing. Again, remember guys, if you're interested in helping, it starts as simple as hitting the little guy in the bottom corner there and sharing this to Facebook, to Twitter, or inviting your followers. That's the first step. If you want to go, one minute.
And buses.
Apologies, we're literally next to a bus stop. There's a bus stop just offshore over there. If you want to do something slightly bigger than that, we're writing a blog, and we've got an account set up so you guys can actually say, I want to help him get a phone, and you can actually donate towards that, and we'll do it, and we'll come down and we'll document, you know, doing the handover of that, so you guys can follow the whole journey. And then once he's got a phone, you guys can follow him through his own accounts as well. So there's a whole range of ways to get involved. I will be doing a very short scope separately after this, which is a how to be involved scope, because I want to get it really nice and clean so that I can refer people straight to it from the blog, and to read about that. You guys have been massively supportive. I'm just going to explain to you here. All of these hearts here is basically people who are in on the broadcast here. So if I scroll in, you can see who's live in here, and you can see they're giving hearts, like tapping the screen to say, they're basically showing support. That's what this is. So
thank you very much, guys. Again, I appreciate your support.
So guys, this has been Wolf, and this is Tristan here doing the Digital Nomad project here in Sydney. Appreciate every one of you who tuned in live. If you appreciated it, if anything here resonated with you, first thing we ask you to do is please share this broadcast. Don't just share it while we're live. Go back, retweet those broadcasts, go to someone else's feed and reshare it. Get this out to as many people as possible. The more people that get involved, the easier it is for us to help everyone. So thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. Thanks from me. Thanks from Wolf.
Peace, guys.
And we'll catch you guys. I'll be doing a very quick scope, probably in about half an hour or 40 minutes. Don't wait up if you're in Australia. Catch it tomorrow. And that'll tell you exactly how you can get involved. Thanks a lot again, guys, and I'll catch you both here and on Snapchat over the next 3 months.